Where Devanya been lately, man?
I don't know. I'll be pinging her and sending her the link in the message.
Shit, so whatever. We can take, let's see, 11 chapters. We can take that's about four chapters each. If we got three. Oh shit! Drop my.
Go on, I'll go first if you want. Chapter 23, a prophecy concerning Tyre. Wail, O ships of Tarshish, for Tyre has been sacked from within, preventing entry. The Arats of Katham has the invader been revealed to it. Fall silent, you island dwellers, for the seafaring merchants of Shadan used to fill you. Through many Mayim came the seed of the Nile, the harvest of the river as her produce. She was the marketplace for all Goyim. Be ashamed, O Shadan, for the sea has spoken, the fortress on the sea, saying, I have not gone into labor, and I have not given birth, nor have I raised her youths, reared maidens. When the news of reaches Mitzrayim, they will tremble. Hold on, my eyes, my vision sometimes. Will tremble, as when Tyre heard the news. Move on, Tarshish, wail, or dwellers of the island. Is this your joyous city, O exultant one, whose origins were in the ancient days, but whose leg led her to dwell far away? Who devised this against Tyre, the magnificent, whose merchants were princes, and those whose were traders, the elite of the Arets? Adonai, master of legions, devised it to defile pride in every delight, to suppress the elite of the Arats. Pass away from your Arats like a flowing Nahal. O Bat of Tarshash, you have no more power. Allahayim stretched out his yad over the sea. He incited Malkut. Uh, Adonai has a command against Canaan to destroy its source of strength. He said, exult no longer, O oppressed virgin of Shaddam. Get up and cross over to Katham, but even there will be no rest for you. Behold, this is the Arats of the Chaldeans, for this Goy never used to be here. Ashawar founded it for its fleets, they erected its towers. Now they are destroyed in its palaces. It has been made ruin. Wail, or ships of Tarshish, for your source of strength has been sacked. It shall be on the day that Tyre will be forgotten for 70 years, like the lifetime of a unique king. The end of 70 years, there will be for Tyre something like the song of a harlot. Take a harp and circle the city, O forgotten harlot. Play well, sing a lot, that you may be remembered, and that it will be the end of 70 years that Adonai will remember Tyre, and she will resume her harlot's hire, and she will engage in harlotry with all the kingdoms of the Arats on the face of the Ha'arats. And her merchandise and her harlot's wages will one day become Quadash to Adonai. It shall not be stored nor accumulated, for her merchandise will belong to those who sit before Adonai to eat and be sated for elegant clothing. Hold on, let's see. Behold, Adonai is emptying the Arats and destroying it. He will distort its appearance and scatter its inhabitants. As with the Ameg, so with the Kahanim, as with the slave, so with his Adon, as with the maidservant with her mistress, with the buyer, so with the seller, with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the creditor, so with the one who owes him. The Arats will be utterly emptied and utterly despoiled, for Adonai has spoken this word. The Arats will become desolate and withered. The world will be wretched and withered. The exalted of the Ameh of the Arats will be wretched, and the Arats will be unfaithful because of the inhabitants, for they have transgressed the mitzvot and have violated the Tharawah. They have abrogated the everlasting covenant because of the false oath. Because of false oath. The Arats is consumed, and those who inhabit it have become decimated. Therefore, the inhabitants of the Arats have become parched, and a few people remain. The grapes are desolate, the vine is forlorn, and the glad-hearted people groan, rejoicing with trembles, has ceased. The noise of the revelers have stopped, so the joy of the harp has ceased. They will not drink wine with song. Liquor has become bitter to those who drink it. The desolate city has been broken. Every bayat has been closed against entry. There was crying for wine in the streets. All gladness is darkened. The joy of the Arats has been exiled, for thus shall it be in the midst of the Arats among the Goyim, as the beating of an olive tree, like solitary grapes when the harvest is over. They will yet raise their voice. They will cry out over the greatness of Adonai. They will shout with greater joy than the sea of reeds. Therefore, honor Adonai for the lights in the islands of the sea. Honor the Hashem Adonai Elohim of Israel. From the edge of the earth we have heard songs, glory for the Zadakim. But I say, my lot is to waste away, my lot is to waste away. Woe is me, the treacherous have dealt with the treachery of the treacherous have they dealt treacherously. Fear and pitfall and snare will be upon you, O inhabitant of the Arat. It shall be that whoever flees the sound will fear, and whoever flees the sound of the fear will fall into a pit. And whoever rises from within the pit will be trapped in the snare, for windows will be opened from above, and the foundations of the Ha'arats will quake. Broken, broken will be the Arats, crumbled and crumbled will be the Arats, trembling, trembling will be in the land, will be the Arats. Tottering, the Arats will totter like a drunkard, and sway like a booth, and its sins will lay heavily upon it, and it will fall and never rise again. By Yom Adonai will deal with these hosts of Hashemayim and Hashemayim, and with the Malachim of the Ha'arats, and on the Ha'arats they will be gathered together in gathering, captive in a dungeon, and they will be imprisoned in prison, and after many days they will be remembered. The moon will be humiliated, and the sun will be ashamed, for Adonai Shabbaot will have reigned on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and there will be honor for his elders. Oh, let me see this word. Okay. Adonai, you are my Elohim. I will exalt you. I will give thanks to your Hashem. For you have done wondrously. Your plans from the distant past were kept with a firm faithfulness. You have made the oppressor city into a heap, his fortified town into ruin. The Hekal of the Goyim removed from each city, not to be rebuilt. Therefore, even a strong Ameh will honor you. The Ameh of the mighty nations, the Goyim, will fear you. For you were a stronghold to the meek, a stronghold for the destitute when he was in distress, a shelter from downpour, a shade from the scorching heat when the fury from the Gedalim was like a downpour against a wall, like a scorching heat in a wasteland. Uh, and that word is like the Shalin or whatnot. It should be. You will diminish in the Talmud of the Goyim like a scorching heat that is shaded by a cloud, so the breaking of the Gadalim will humble them. Adonai Shabbaot will make for all the Goyim on this mountain a feast of fats, feast of lees, rich fats, concentrated lees. On this mountain he will eliminate the covering that covers all the Ameh, and the mask of all the Goyim. He will eliminate death forever, Olam. Uh, and my Adonai Elohim will erase tears from all the faces. He will remove the shame of his nation from upon the entire Arat. For Adonai has spoken, the Bar Yahweh. And they will say on that day, behold, this is our Elohim, and we hope to him that he would save us. This is Adonai whom we hoped. Let us exult and be glad in his salvation. For the hand of Adonai will descend upon this mountain, and Ma'ab will be crushed in its place, and straw is crushed in a dung heap. And he will stretch out his hand in the midst of the swimmer, stretches out to swim. And he will put down his pride. He will put down its pride with its places of ambush, and the stronghold of your powerful walls he will topple. He will lower. It will reach the ground until the dust. On that day, this song will be sung in the Arats of Yahweh. A city is a stronghold for us. He will grant salvation to its high walls and outer wall. Open the gates so that so the Zedekim Goyim, keeper of the faith, may enter. That being relied on you to protect him with peace, peace, shalom, shalom. For you in you he did trust. Trust in Adonai Olam, for Elohim is the strength of the worlds, for he has brought down those who dwell on high. In an exalted city he has lowered it. He has lowered it to the ground, and he has brought it down to dust. It is trampled underfoot, the feet of the poor, the souls of the meek. The way of uprightness is for the Zaddikim. It's like the way of Zedekiah is for the Zaddikim. O upright one, straighten the circuit of the Zaddikim. Even on your path of your Shaphat, Adonai, we put hopes in you. Your name, your mention, and the yearning of our nafesh. My nafesh desired you during the Lila. As long as my rawak is within me, I will seek you out. That's Darash again. For when your mishpatim are against the arats, the inhabitants of the world learn Zedekah. Shall grace be granted unto the wicked one who did not learn Zedekah? He acts with corruption in the arats of the upright. And he did not see the exaltedness of Adonai. Adonai, when your hand is raised, the wicked do not see it. May they see vengeance for your Ameh and be ashamed. And also that the Aish will consume your enemies. Adonai arranged shalom for us, even as you brought about whatever happened to us. Adonai our Elohim, Adonai other than you have ruled over us. But it's only you whose Shem we mention. But they are dead, never to live, lifeless, never to arise. Therefore you punished and destroyed them and eradicated any memory of them. You have added to the nation, Adonai. You have added to the nation, and you have been honored. You rejected all the ends of the Arats. Adonai, in their trouble, they turned to you. They poured out their silent tahilim when they approached them, like a pregnant woman about to give birth. She is in travail. She screams in her pangs. So were we before you, Adonai. We have conceived and gone into travail, as if we have borne wind. Salvations were not performed in the Arats, and the wicked who dwell on the world did not fall. May your dead come to life. May my corpses arrive. Awake and shout for joy, you who dwell in the dust, for your dew is like the dew that revives vegetation. May you topple the lifeless wicked to the ground. Go to my Ameh, enter your chambers, close the door behind you, and hide for a brief moment until the wrath has passed. For behold, Adonai is going forth from his place to bring punishment for the sin of the inhabitants of the Arats upon him, Elecha, that the Arats will reveal its blood and no longer cover over his slain.
You want me to read the next one?
Yeah, you good.
Isaiah 27. On that day, the Lord shall visit his hand. On that day, the Lord shall visit with his hard and great and strong sword on the levith and bar like serpent, and upon Leviathan and cook serpents, and the crooked serpents, and he shall slay the dragon. This is in the sea. On that day, a vineyard producing wine sings to it. I, the Lord, guard it every moment. I water it, lest he visit upon it. Night and day, I guard it. I have no wrath. Would that would that I wore thorn and berry against the objects of my war, and I would tread upon it and ignite it together. If they would grasp my fortress, they would make peace for me, and they would make peace for me. Those who came, whom Jacob caused to take root, Israel flourished and blossomed, and they filled the face of the world with fatigue. Israel flourished and blossomed, and they filled the face of the world with fruitage. Like the smiting who smote him did, he smite him. Like the slaying, he slain one was slain. Was he slain? In that measure When they sent them out, it drove with it. He spoke with his harsh wind on the day and the east wind. Therefore, with this shall Jacob's iniquity be. Therefore, with this shall Jacob's iniquity be atoned for, and this is all the fruit of removing his sins, by making the altar stones like the crushed chalk stones. Ashmir and sun image shall now rise. For a fortitude, for a fortified city is solitude and solitary, a dwelling and forsaken, and abandoned like a pasture. There is a calf shall gaze. There a calf shall graze, and there he shall lie and consume its branches. When its branches dry out, they shall be broken. Women shall come and ignite it, for it is not a people of understanding. Therefore, its maker shall not have compassion on it, and he whom formed it shall not grant it for it, and he who formed it shall not grant it favor. And it shall come to pass on that day that the Lord shall gather from the flood of the river and the streams of Egypt, and you shall be gathered one by one, O children of Israel. And it shall come to pass, and on that day, that a greater shofar shall be sounded, and those lost in the land of Assyria, and those exiled in the land of Egypt shall come, and they shall prostrate themselves before the Lord on the holy mountain of Jerusalem. Can I ask you guys what is it? Let me see. What is it? In this same verse 13, that a great shofar shall be sounded. What is that?
Like a warning or a horn.
Okay, okay. What was?
Can I
Oh,
take I was gonna ask if I could read the next chapter.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Woe to the crown of pride, to the drunkards of Ephraim, whose glorious beauty is in a fading flower, which is at the head of the verdant valleys. To those who are overcome with wine, behold, the Lord has a mighty and strong one, like a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, like a flood of mighty waters overflowing. Who will bring them down to the earth with his hands? The crown of pride, the drunkards of Ephraim, will be trampled underfoot, and the glorious beauty is a fading flower, which is at the head of the verdant valley. Like the first fruit before the summer, which an absorber sees, he eats it up while it's still in his hand. In that day the Lord of hosts will be for a crown of glory and a diadem of beauty to the remnant of his people, for a spirit of justice to him who sits in judgment, and for strength to those who turn back the battle at the gate. But they also have erred through wine, and through intoxicating drink are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have erred there through intoxicating drink. They are swallowed up by wine. They are out of the way through intoxicating drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment. For all the tables are full of vomit and filth. No place is clean. Whom will he teach knowledge, and whom will he make to understand the message? Those just weaned from milk, those drawn from the breast? For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue, he will speak to his people, to whom he said, "This is the rest with which you may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing." Yet they would not hear, but the word of the Lord was to them, precept upon precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backward and be broken and snared and caught. Therefore hear the word of the Lord, you scornful men, who rule this people who are in Jerusalem, because you have said, "We have made a covenant with death, and with Sheol we are in agreement. When the overflowing scourge passes through, it will not come to us, for we have made lies our refuge, and understand we have hidden ourselves." Therefore thus says the Lord God, "Behold, I lay in Zion in a stone for a foundation, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. Whoever believes will not act hastily. I will also make justice the measuring line, and righteousness the plummet. The hail will sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters will overflow the hiding place. Your covenant with death will be annulled, and your agreement with Sheol will not stand. When the overflowing scourge passes through, then you will be trampled down by it. As often as it goes out, it will take you. For morning by morning it will pass over, and by day and by night it will be a terror to just understand the report. For the bed is too short to stretch on, and the covering so narrow that one cannot wrap himself in it. For the Lord will rise up as at Mountain Perazim. He will be angry as in the valley of Gibeon, and he may do his work, his awesome work, and bring to pass his act, his unusual act. Therefore do not be mockers, lest your bonds be made strong. For I have heard from the Lord God of hosts a destruction determined even upon the whole earth. Give ear to my voice, and hear and listen and hear my speech. Does the plowman keep plowing all day to sow? Does he keep turning his soil and breaking the clods when he has leveled his surface? Does he not sow the black cumin and scatter the cumin, plant the wheat in rows, the barley in the appointed place, and the spelt in its place? For he instructs him in right judgment, his God teaches him. For the black cumin is not threshed with threshing sledge, nor a cartwheel rolled over the cumin, but the black cumin is beaten out with a stick, and the cumin with a rod. Bread, flour must be ground. Therefore he does not thresh it forever, break it with his cartwheel, or crush it with his horsemen. This also comes from the Lord of hosts, who is wonderful in counsel and excellent in guidance. Amen.
I'm gonna take 29. Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
O Ariel, Ariel, city where David encamped, you accumulate sins a year after year until your holidays will be terminated. I will bring distress to Ariel. There will be agony and grief, and it will be for me like Ariel. I will encamp against you like a ring, and I will lay siege against you with a scaffold and set up a mound against you. You will sink down from the ground where you speak, downtrodden from the dust where your speech be, like a ghost from the ground where your voice be, and from the dust your speech will chirp. Then your multitude of foreigners will become like fine dust, and the multitude of powerful ones will be like passing chaff. It will happen with quick suddenness. By Yah, Master of Legions, will you be remembered, with thunder and with earthquake and loud sound, storm and tempest and consuming flame of fire. Like a dream, a vision of the night will be the multitude of all the nations who muster themselves against Ariel, along with all those who besiege her and beleaguer her and cause her distress. It will be as when The hungry man dreams, and behold, he is eating, but he wakes up and his soul is empty. And as when the thirsty man dreams, and behold, he is drinking, but he wakes up, and behold, he is weary, and his soul craves drink. So will the multitude of all the nations that muster themselves against Mount Zion. Ponder it and be astonished. They have been utterly blinded and blinded others. They were drunk, but not from wine. They staggered, but not from liquor. For Yah has poured out upon you a spirit of deep sleep, and he has closed your eyes, and the eyes of the prophets and your chiefs, the seers he has covered. To you, all the true prophecy is like the words of a sealed document that one gives to a literate person, saying, "Please read this." And he says, "I cannot, for it is sealed." Then the document is given to an illiterate person, saying, "Please read this." And he says, "I am not literate." Adonai said, "Inasmuch as this people has drawn close to me with its mouth and with its lips, it has honored me, yet it has distanced its heart from me. Their fear of me is like a rote learning of human commands. Therefore, behold, I will continue to perform more wonders against this people, wonder upon wonder. The wisdom of its wise men will be lost, and the understanding of its sages will become concealed. Woe to those who try to hide in depths to conceal counsel from Yah, and their deeds are done in darkness. They say, who sees us and who knows of us? Shall your contrariness be considered like the potter's clay? Can a product say of its maker, he did not make me? Or a molded thing say of its molder, he does not understand? Behold, in just a little while, the Lebanon will become farmland, and the farmland will be considered like forest. On that day, the deaf will hear the words of a book, and from darkness and blackness, the eyes of blind people will see. Yeah, that cuts y'all Jew right there when you say you don't hear the words of the book. The meek will increase their joy in Yah, and the poor among the people will rejoice in the Holy One of Yasharal. For the fierce man is no more, and the scoffer has ceased to be, and all who strive for iniquity will be cut off. Those who with a word cause man to sin, and ensnare the one who gives rebuke at the city gate, and mislead the righteous with falsehood. Therefore, thus saith Yah, who redeemed Abraham to the house of Jacob. Jacob will not be ashamed now, and his face will not pale now. When he sees his children, my handiwork in their midst, who will sanctify my name, they will sanctify the Holy One of Yaakov and revere the Elohim of Yasharah. Those of misguided spirit will attain understanding, and complainers will learn Elohim's instruction. Woe, O wayward son, chapter 30. Woe, O wayward sons, the word thus saith Yah, who take counsel, but not from me, and who accept a ruler, but not of my spirit, in order to add sin upon sin, who are going to descend to Egypt, but did not inquire of my mouth, to seek strength in Pharaoh's stronghold, and to take shelter in Egypt's shade. Pharaoh's stronghold will be a shame for you, and the shelter in Egypt's shade will be a humiliation, for its officers were in zone. Its messengers have reached Hanes. Everyone has been shamed by this people who cannot benefit them, not of assistance and not of benefit, but for shame and even for disgrace. They load animals to travel to the south, through a land of affliction and adversity, mature lion and young lion among them, viper and flying serpent. They carry their wealth upon the shoulder of young donkeys, and their riches upon the camel's hump, to a people who cannot provide benefit. As for Egypt, they will help with vanity and emptiness. Therefore I say of this, they are arrogant, sitting idle. Now go and write this prophecy on a tablet in their presence, and inscribe it in a book, and let it remain until the final day, forever, for eternity. For it is a rebellious people, children who deny, children who are unwilling to hear the teaching of Yah, who say to the seers, do not see, and to the prophets, do not envision true visions for us. Speak smooth words to us, see fantasies for us. Veer from the way, stray from the path, remove from our presence the word of the Holy One of Yasharal. Therefore, thus saith the Holy One of Yasharal, since you have despised this word, and you trusted in robbery and waywardness, and have depended on it, therefore, this sin will be for you like the breach of a fallen wall, like a bulge in a lofty wall, whose collapse comes with quick suddenness. Elohim will break it as one breaks a potter's flask into fragments. He will have no pity. There will not be found among the fragments a shard to scrape a burning coal from a fire, or to scoop water from a cistern. For thus saith my Adonai Yahweh Elohim, the Kadash one of Yasharal. In stillness and peacefulness will you be saved. In quiet and in confidence will be your might. But you did not consent. And you said, not so. We will flee on a horse. Therefore you will flee, and we will ride upon swift animals. Therefore your pursuers will be swifter. 1,000 will flee from the shout of one, and from the shout of five you will all flee, until you will be left like a mast on top of a mountain and like a pole atop a hill. Therefore Yah will delay in showing you grace, and therefore he will be aloof from showing you mercy. For Yah is the Elohim of justice. Praiseworthy are those who yearn for him. For a people will dwell in Zion, in Jerusalem. You will not have to weep. He will surely show you grace at the sound of your outcry. When he hears, he will answer you. I will give you meager bread and scant water. Your teacher will no longer be hidden behind his garment, and your eyes will behold your teacher, and your ears will listen even to a word spoken from behind you, saying, This is the path, walk in it. Whether you go to your right or to your left, you will contaminate the coating of your silver graven idols and the embellishment of your golden molten images. You will cast them away like someone unclean. You will tell it, Be gone. Elohim will give rain for your seed that you will sow in the ground, and bread from the produce of the ground. It will be rich and fat. Your livestock will graze in a broad pasture on that day. The oxen and the young donkeys that work the land will eat enriched fodder, which has been winnowed with a shovel and a fan. On every high mountain and on every exalted hill there will be pools, rivulets of water on the day of the great killing, when great ones fall. The light of the moon will be like the light of the sun, and the light of the sun will be 7 times as strong, like the light of 7 days, on the day that Yah bandages the injury of his people and heals the wound of his blow. Behold, the name of Yah is coming from afar. His anger is flaring, and the burden is heavy. His lips are full of rage, and his tongue is like a consuming fire. His breath is like a raging stream that reaches up to the neck, to sift the nations in a faulty sieve, and to be a diverting bridle upon the cheeks of the nations. The song will be yours like the night of the festival's consecration, and heartfelt gladness like one who walks with a flute to come onto the mountain of Yah, to the rock of Yasharal. Yah will make heard the majesty of his voice, and he will show the potency of his arm, with raging anger and with the flame of a consuming fire, with smashing torrent and hailstone. For Assyria will become devastated by the voice of Yah, as if he struck with the staff. And it shall be that with every passage of the firm staff that Yah will place upon him, there will be timbrels and harps, and he will fight wars against them like a waving of the hand. For hell has been prepared from yesterday. It has been readied even for the king. Elohim has deepened and widened it. Its inferno has much fire and wood, and the breath of Yah is like a stream of sulfur burning within it. Mike, you can take 31, but I want to see something real quick. What was I going to look at? Oh, yeah. Hey, that flying serpent. What is that signal? I looked at that a couple months ago, and it was some kind of Egyptian uh serpent or something like that. But like, the significance of that, man.
Yeah, that's what it like is. Yeah, that's exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I also wanted to point out when what chapter was that? I think it was 28 or it was 27 when it was talking about the precept upon precept, and the camps try to use that as a they
That's
use it
Isaiah
they use it
28 and 16.
yeah they use it they use it out of context for a doctrine to do their little for their little preset package stuff, like they'll
hmm
to build doctrines and shit.
He says
But
it's
yeah,
stumbling block. You
right,
stumble backwards.
right, and that's exactly what they're doing. But yeah, all right, Mike, you can take 31.
All right. Woe to those who reply on Egypt. Woe to those who go down to Egypt for help. Who rely on horses. Who trust in the multitude of the chariots and in the great strength of the horsemen. But do not look to the Holy One of Israel or seek the help from Yahweh. Verse 2 Yet He too is wise and cannot bring disaster. He does not take back his word. He will rise up against that wicked nation, against those who help evil doers. And the Egyptians are more mortal and not Elohim. Their horses are flesh and that not spirit. Then Yahweh stretched out his hand. Those who help will stumble. Those who are helped will fall. All will perish together. Verse 4. But this is what Yahweh said to me. As a lion growls, a great lion over its prey, and through a whole band of shepherds is called together against it. It is not fright. It is not frightened by their shouts or dis, 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 or disturbed by their clamors. So Yahweh will come down to do battle on Mount Zion and on its height. Look, birds hover, birds hovering overhead. The Almighty will shepherd Jerusalem. He will the Almighty will shield Jerusalem, and He will shield it and deliver it. He will pass over it and will and rescue it. Verse 6. Return, you Israelites, to the one you have so great revolt against. For in that day, every one of you will reject the idols of silver and gold your sinful hand have made. The Assyrians will fall by no human sword, and the sword not of metals will devour them. They will flee before the sword, and their young men will be put to forced labor. Their strongholds will fall before. Their strongholds will fall because of terror. At the sight of the battle, standing there, command will declares panic declares Yahweh, while fire is in Zion, and while the furnace is in Jerusalem. Shalom.
Amoris or Amoris, however you pronounce it. You can finish us off. She might have fell asleep or something. I'll just take it. All right, 32. Behold, the king will rule for the sake of righteousness, and the officers will govern for justice. And this man will be like a hideout from the wind and a cover from a downpour, like pools of water in an arid area, like the shade of a large rock in a thirsty land. The eyes of seeing people will no longer be closed, and the ears of the hearing people will pay heed. The, the heart of the impetuous will understand knowledge, and the tongue of stammerers will hasten to speak fluently. A vile person, will no longer be called generous, and it will not be said that a miser is magnanimous. For the vile person speaks villainy, and his heart plans iniquity, to act with hypocrisy, and to speak falsehood about Yah, to tempt the empty soul of the hungry, and to diminish the drink of the thirsty. As for the miser, his vessels are evil. Hold up. He plans schemes to destroy the poor with words of falsehood, and when the destitute speaks justly. But a generous man plans generous acts, and stands for generous acts. O complacent women, rise up and hear my voice. O confident daughters, give ear to my speech. Year after year, the confident women will shudder when the vintage is finished. The harvest does not come in. Tremble, O complacent women. Shudder, O confident women. Disrobe and bury yourselves, and gird sackcloth on your loins, beating upon their breasts and mourning over the lovely fields, over the fruitful vine, over the land of my people. Thistles and weeds will sprout, over all the houses of merrymaking, over the exultant city. For the palace has been abandoned, the city's multitude forsaken. The fortification and stronghold have become ruins forever, a joy for wild asses, pasture for flocks, until a spirit from on high will be poured out upon us, and the desert will become a fertile field, and the fertile field will be reckoned like a forest. Justice will dwell in the wilderness, and righteousness will live in the fertile field. The product of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness quiet and security forever. My people will live in a peaceful domain, and in secure dwellings, and in tranquil resting places. Hail will come down on the forest, and the city will extend down to the valley. You will be so fortunate to sow upon all waters, sending the ox and the donkey to roam freely. 33. Woe to you, pillager, who has not been pillaged, traitor who has not been betrayed. When you finish pillaging, you will be pillaged. When you end your treachery, they will be treacherous with you. Yah grant us favor. We have hope for you. Be their strong arm every morning. Also our salvation in time of distress. At the noise of your tumult, peoples have wandered. From your exaltedness, nations have scattered. Your spoils will be gathered like the gathering of locusts. As the march of grasshoppers shall he march in it. Yah is exalted, for he dwells on high. He has filled Zion with justice and righteousness. The faith of your times will be the strength of your salvations, wisdom and knowledge, fear of Yah. That is man's treasure. Behold, their herald cried outside. Messengers of peace wept bitterly. Roads are desolate. Wayfarer has ceased. He has annulled the treaty, despised cities, respected no man. The land is mournful and forlorn. Lebanon is shamed and cut down. Sharon has become a desert. Bashan and Carmel have become denuded. Now I shall arise, Yah will say. Now I shall ascend. Now I shall be exalted. Conceive stubble and give birth to straw. Your spirit is a fire that will consume you. Nations will be like burning for lime, like cut thorns set aflame. Hear, O faraway people, what I have done, and you who are close by, recognize my might. Sinners were afraid in Zion. Trembling seized hypocrites. Which of us can live with the consuming fire? Which of us can live with the eternal conflagration? One who walks with righteousness and speaks with truthfulness. I need to hire somebody to flip pages for me. Truthfulness, who spurns extortionate profit and shakes off his hands from holding a bribe, who seals his ears from hearing of bloodshed and shuts his eyes from seeing evil. You know, highlight that, man. That's basically like that reminds me of hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, they get everything from this book, man. He shall dwell in heights and rocky fortresses, and is his stronghold. His bread will be granted, his water assured. Your eyes will behold the king in his splendor. They will see him from a faraway land. Your heart will muse in dread. Where is the one who counts? Where is the one who weighs in? Where is the one who weighs? Where is the one who counts the towers? You will not see brazen people, the people whose speech is too difficult to understand, of garbled tongue, without comprehension. Behold Zion, the city of our festivals. Your eyes will see Jerusalem, the tranquil abode, the tent that will not be displaced, whose stakes will not be uprooted forever, and none of whose ropes will be severed. For only there will Yah be our mighty one. It will be like a place of wide rivers and channels. A boat cannot traverse it, and a mighty vessel cannot cross it. For Yah is our judge. Yah is our lawgiver. Yah is our king. Khan. He will save us. Your ropes have been abandoned. They,
That's the cut to the New Testament.
right. Your ropes have been abandoned. They will not firmly secure their mast. They will not spread sail. Then abundant spoils and plunder will be distributed. Even the lame will take booty. A dweller of Jerusalem will not say, I am sick. The people dwelling there shall be forgiven of sin. And we got through that pretty quick. I just want to read that thing again. I need to highlight that. That was Isaiah 33, 14, 14 and 14 through 15. It was saying, who can live with the consuming fire, which can live with the eternal conflagration. One who walks with right. That reminds me of Psalms 1 too, when it says, is that Psalms 1 I'm thinking of? It's like, who can do, I might be thinking of something else. It's like, who can dwell in your mountain or something. Well, it say, one who walks with righteousness and speaks with truthfulness, who spurns extortionate profit. So you have a just balance. You're not ripping people off. You're not
Yep.
being shady in any kind of way.
Yep. He says the just balance is abomination unto
Con,
him.
con.
Sometimes it's hard to follow when he's reading in Hebrew because
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. It's just getting familiar with the words. Like he'll
okay.
certain words he'll be like. I think it's just natural for him because he used to reading it like that. So certain words, so like king, king is Malek. If you hear him say
Malik.
Malak, Malak is messenger or angel. Um, if you hear him say Adonai, that's Lord with lowercase, like it'll be a capital L but lowercase O-R-D. That means that's Adonai. If you see Lord in all caps, which is in the KJV, that's God's name in Hebrew, but they just don't write it. So it'd be like Yah. Some people say Yahweh. The YHWH, that's the all caps Lord. So if you hear us say that, that's where that's at. What else? Uh, Yasharal, Yasharal. If we hear us say that, or some people say Yasharel, that's Israel. Um, what else? What else he be saying? Kodesh is holy. And yeah, actually, if you go through Blue Letter Bible in Google Blue Letter Bible, you can it'll show you all the words. Sometimes they go off and they don't really stick to it like 100%, but for the most part they'll have it right. Train was in my ear. Hold up. But yeah, y'all. Shakes his hand from shakes his hand from holding a bribe. That also goes in with the just balances and not having the uneven scales, trying to rip people off. Who seals his ears from hearing no bloodshed, hear no evil, shuts his eyes from seeing evil, see no evil. So you do no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil. Basically, you try to engulf yourself in just holiness and righteousness and be separate. And that's why we really don't be going to all these rooms that you see on here. They're talking all this nonsense, and you're just going. It's kind of hard because entertainment. That's the easiest way to control the people. I think that's where the word media comes from like the media nights. I think I heard that somewhere. You got to fact check me on that, but I think that's what I heard from. And like they would make plays and basically make old school media back then to distract the people, kind of like they do now with the news and all these several celebrities and staged events to keep us distracted. And so that's what basically goes on with to in these rooms too. Also like on TV and Netflix, you see how they majority of stuff they show is like sexual stuff or homosexual or murder, stuff like that. They try to get us desensitized to all this stuff. So, and that stuff can seep into your consciousness if you're not strong enough or if you're not careful. So you gotta be careful what you listen to, what you see, what you entertain, because it can affect you in a negative way. You want to keep your vibration holy as possible. So stay that Joshua 1:8. Stay meditating day and night in the Torah, and if your mind's on Most High and His Word all day, like even if it ain't like I ain't saying like a 24/7, you're reading it 24/7, but every action you do keeps the Torah in mind. Every thought, every action every decision you make has the Most High in mind and His law and wanting to be as righteous as possible and seek perfection. So, but yeah, we gotta that hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. That falls into that. Isaiah 33:14 and 15. That's definitely where they got that from. But yeah, it's facts though. You gotta protect your spirit. Hey, mentally, we got through this reading quick.
We did.
We did. I mean,
But then again, I joined late, so.
yeah, right. Shit, we can go through. I was thinking of doing it tomorrow. If y'all want, if y'all down, we can do 34 through 44 and do it tonight.
I
If
vote
y'all want to.
tonight.
You said what?
Oh, I thought, are we doing a vote?
Yeah, we can. If most of y'all can. If most of y'all want to, I don't want anybody to miss it. We can still. We can just do it tomorrow, like I was originally planning. It don't matter.
Okay.
So y'all want to go? Y'all want to do tonight?
Yes.
All
Well,
right.
I do. I vote yes.
All right. I can. I'm gonna open up another room just because the title has up to 33. I'm gonna make sure I want the chapters to match. So I'm gonna start another room and we can go through another 11 chapters. All right, Shalom, y'all. We got to jump in another room.